Who's out there, Brenda? Amanda's out
Yeah, she's coming, she's coming, I think.
there. She is.
Morning,
You want to enter session?
doing well, how are you? Yep, yep. All right, we have left the executive session and we'll now resume normal session.
Mike, Dave, you might wanna get that signed.
Got it. Morning, everyone. How are you?
How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
So this is our summer intern, Kaylee Clark.
How are you?
It's the big change.
So she's with us for the summer,
Great. Very
gonna
good.
help out with all of the 4-H stuff.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, if you guys wanna start with your update, give us an update, that would be great.
We'll do 4-H numbers first. All right, so I'm super excited. Our 4-H numbers, I had shared doom and gloom, like dropping a bunch of kids over the last 10 years. We actually stayed even and went slightly up this year. So, our 4-H numbers stayed the same, but our clover buds, we increased that slightly, like 10%. And then our adult volunteers, that stays roughly the same. But for school programming, we added 70 with Madison Plains. We did Real Money, Real World out there, with their 8th grade. And I only did half of their 8th grade, so next year I'm looking at doing the whole 8th grade. So that's a financial literacy program, where they go through a simulation, they get a job, they learn to take all the fun taxes out, and then the last one, they go spend their month's salary, what they have left over. And then I had 175 second graders with London's Chick Quest, so they do the life cycle program with chicks. They had a pretty successful hatch rate with those, and then I had to find chick combs. And then I had 27 at Madison Plains with their kindergarten.
Very good.
So then starting a program in the beginning of June with juvenile courts, doing the Real Money, Real World with them. We're gonna add a little bit more to it on like some life skills on how to interview for a job, how to write a resume, that type of stuff with them as well. They have a couple other 4-H programs picked out that we're gonna put in the works for over the next year.
Great.
And then we have some stuff with some community centers over the summer too, like summer camp type stuff.
Yeah, those practical skills are great. So that's
Oh,
very good.
absolutely.
That's very good.
Like even knowing what to wear to a job interview.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, ripped jeans and a t-shirt.
Absolutely, that's how anyone gets a job. Any other questions for 4-H?
What's the financial literacy for, what, I'm sorry, I missed that.
That
So what is
hurt
that?
your ear.
Yeah, what is?
It's called Real Money, Real World, and I can send you the curriculum if you wanna look over it. But it was designed by Ohio State, and it works through, it's like 5 lessons where, they get a job, and sometimes the school will do it based on like GPA. We did it random this time, so they get a salary. And then they get to take out taxes. We learn about, federal tax, state tax, Medicare tax, like all of that stuff to come out. And then we budget based on like how much you should spend on housing, how much you should spend on a car. They obviously think they should spend way more on a car. They get a couple kids assigned to them. They get a spouse that they have to help pay for because, they only work part-time. They try to sell Chris. It's terrible. And then the last day they go through and they spend what they have left over on housing. So they make their budget and then they actually spend it. Some of them end up with second jobs. So, but we talk about student loans and, 2-year degrees, 4-year degrees going on and how much that costs versus a technical degree and where all of that plays in as well. So.
It's great. You're doing this in all the school systems,
No, we just started doing it in Plains.
just in Plains.
Just in Plains. I have the teachers at not West Jeff, Jonathan Alder and Reston. So, and I'm sure London would pick it up. It's just finding the time in my schedule to do it too.
It's a great program. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it to all schools. That would be great.
Yeah,
It is good because when my kids start working and they got their paycheck, they see what was left over,
and sad,
they flip that. I said, that's life, big boy, let's go.
right, because they think they get to spend that whole.
Yeah. Yep. Very
Thank
good.
you for that update.
You're welcome. Oh, and camp, sorry, I forgot about our 4-H camp.
Yeah.
We're up 20% in those numbers compared to
That's great.
last year.
Good.
So that's June 5th through the 9th this year.
Fantastic. Very positive update. Thank you.
All right, on the ag side, couple things from the winter. I did a lose less series, just helping farmers deal with, the economy that they're facing. And looking at budgets, financial management, marketing, those kinds of things. So I did that hybrid with in person and online. And that worked well, had a handful of people in person and then I'd have people either join online or watch afterwards, so could reach more than that were available to attend there. And then, the farmer breakfast series is something that, I inherited when I came here. It had been started before me. That's with, Delaware, Union and Madison counties. We have at the Dutchman. And we were able to do 3 of those this year, and we had 40 to 80 people in the ag industry, farmers attend those, and they're sponsored by Farm Bureau. So that's a really nice way to get in front of people. We're able to offer free breakfast, so they come to it and provide the information and education that we have for them. And we're actually looking to do a summer event on UTV, ATV safety up there. Kind of the same layout, just during the summer, having something across the road there in the facility, Dutchman. So working on ironing out those details, but I think that'll be really cool, working with the sheriff's department to provide some updates on the laws and stuff surrounding it. I'm continuing with my Women in Ag program, building attendance there. I focused that more on kind of the niche type production, which I am excited about because Madison County doesn't have a lot of that. And I think that's a way to build some of our economic development through bringing in smaller businesses in a different agriculture production type market, those types of things. So, yeah, that's been good, holding them every 2 to 3 months. And then of course, fertilizer, pesticide certification, those kind of things. MGVs have been really active, Master Gardener volunteers, sorry, have been really active. I have 37 volunteers now between active intern and trainees, which is up from around 20 when I started. So they have been able to do a lot more. Last year, they had 1,700 volunteer hours that they gave to the community. So they're doing educational events. The community mural park is a big one that they've taken on. They work with our retirement facilities to do education there, school programming. They have a scholarship. They give out $1,000 scholarship to a student in the county each year. And then they've accumulated enough funds that they can offer little mini grants. So if a school wants to do a community garden or Matco, I think they've given some money to Matco for some of their gardens. So a couple $100 here and there each year. It's been really good. And then kind of in that same vein, I'm trying a social media campaign this summer called Small Space Big Produce, where I'm gonna release the kickoff video last
A
month
ton of views,
or last week, yeah.
5,000 in a week or something. This is a lot for us.
Yeah,
It's
great.
just promoting growing your own vegetables in a small space. So working with the master gardeners on that, collaborating with the educator over in Miami County to do blog posts to go along, because the videos, trying to keep them short and sweet, 1 to 2 minutes. So then that blog they can go to and find more information. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping it brings a lot of awareness and can encourage people, no matter where they're at, what type of living situation they have, they can grow something. On-farm research, I had 8 trials that were published in eFields. You guys can have a copy of that if you want. 8 trials, that I worked with farmers on, which, you know, it seems like it's increasing a little bit every year. I worked with an organic farmer for the first time. We're building organic trials throughout eFields there, and I've got a couple more up in the Plain City area, organic farmers that want to do trials this year too. It's been a little challenging, but hopefully we can still make those happen with the weather. And then one of the grants that I'm on has a cohort in Plain City looking at fungicide. So that's a whole group of farmers that a lot of them are new to research, so it'll be good to bring them in. And I'm hoping to connect the cohort that I have kind of just broadly around the county and them. And they can continue to learn from each other and explore more ways to improve production practices. That grant is currently one that's under review, along with the solar grant, so still waiting to hear, you know, if we're gonna be able to continue that work or not. Yeah, that's all we know, that we're not allowed to spend money. And then I did publish a journal article on one of the research trials too, so that was in the National Ag Agents journal, so that was kind of cool. Well, it's not officially published yet, I should say that. This should come out in December. And then the last thing is, I don't know if you guys have gotten updated on the Storybook Trail grant that we got. I couldn't remember when we were here last, but I worked with the chamber and the library for the Stanley Park. We got funding from ODNR to put a storybook trail in there, so we'll have, I think we have funding for 16 of the weatherproof book holders, and we finally have approval to start funding that, so we should get that installed this summer. That's exciting, I think, for the youth.
Have you gone through any of those? They have one at Deer Creek. It's super cool.
Yeah.
I think there's one at the Plain City Park too.
Yeah, I think Westchester put a new one in the,
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
the one with.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's exciting.
I don't hike much.
It's not, it's only like 0.8 mile. Any questions?
Said the grant for, you're talking about Madison Fields. That grant, right, for agrivoltaics.
Yes.
So has that research, I thought it started.
Yeah, and the people on the grant are committed to continuing that work regardless of funding status. So Scott Shear with the Ag Engineering Department, he's has some funds that he can pull, and we can, you know, continue doing some of that work. We actually didn't even get paid for last year yet, so we haven't gotten any money from the grant, even though this is our second year, but we are still planning on cutting pay and stuff like that as soon as we can get a window.
So you plan to continue the same either way? It's just.
Some of the things we may not be able to do, like from my side, was the soil health perspective. And those soil health samples are pretty expensive. So we have to decide, you know, if we have budgets to do that kind of work, and if we want to do that. But the hay is planted, you know, perennial crop growing. They have the equipment to cut it with. So that part can continue at least.
Any other questions?
I think the last one more thing before we leave then is we're kind of max capacity on what we can do in our programs and time and stuff. We'd still like to grow what the extension office offers. So there's a position called program assistant or program coordinator that would
work under us.
yes, to help do more ag and 4-H programming. We think through vacancies in our programs, in the past year, some of the release time from grants that I've gotten, just being fiscally conservative, we could probably fund that position without asking for a budget increase for 3 years or so. And maybe if we get more grant funds to extend that. So is that something you guys are okay with us pursuing?
I'm always in pursuit of getting something for nothing. When the time comes to pay, then that's a different thing, you know, it becomes a permanent position, then I don't know.
And that's something we would put in the job description, like this is only guaranteed for 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's worth, I think it's worth pursuing.
Okay.
Very good. We do always appreciate your updates. Thanks for coming in. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Sure, we'll see you guys at the fair.
Yes,
The meeting for your Tuesday.
I'm sure we will.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just block it off.
Okay, yeah, very good.
Make sure I clean up the mess.
Yeah, thank you. Nice meeting you.
And coffee's always appreciated.
That's right.
Okay. I'll clean probably.
Anything else for the good of the order? Going once, going twice, meeting adjourned.
You wanna say something? No. He would have jumped up at that cane and hit you.
Aaron's pretty.
I gotta be careful how you use that key. My wife might use it on. But I get.
As long as it doesn't turn into a snake, we'll all be good.
Yeah.